Checking the stream. Checking the stream. Checking the stream. Checking the stream. Whoop! Live 1 second ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to open a new window.
Oh, I see that.
I got to get on the chat, right?
I don't know. This is cool, man. Cool, man.
Cool. Oh, we're live on and we're going to be sticking. Oh, jeez. Yep. Turn that down. This happens a little bit every time. Oh, it's streaming him. Look at that.
That's okay.
Should we do that? We're going to get in trouble. This is like, maybe I got a copy.
You'll be fine.
All right. There we go.
Hi, I'm Billy Mitchell. We're here at the due diligence being done to investigate things that happened as far as 35 years ago in a professional manner, not in a shock jock mentality designed to create hits.
I'm a shock jock.
We will show that everything that has been done, everything was done professionally.
I'm not a shock jock.
According to the rules, according to the scoreboard, the integrity that was set up, not 2014 forward by the current regime who wants to reach back 35 years. Everything will be transparent. Everything will be available. I wish I had it in my hands right now. I wish I could hand it to you.
That's what she said.
But it's taken a considerable amount of time. Witnesses, documents, everything will be made available to you. Nothing will be withheld. You have to accept my commitment to that. We've been at this since 1982, and it's not going to stop now.
Live from KOYR Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is Rcade Radio. Intruder alert, intruder alert.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 15 of the Rcade Radio Podcast. Today is Friday, April 20th, 2018, and the time is now approximately 7:23 p.m. Central. Thanks for joining us in the Arcadosphere. This is your host, One Adam 12. Tonight I am joined by Temporal Displacement Farmer, Mark Time Runner Shields, and the guest host of Rcade Radio this week, Mr. Arcade Jason Kopp. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, arcade nerds?
Yeah. Well, we are arcade nerds. We're the arcade
That's my
nerds.
middle name.
We have to have T-shirts made or something. We need market.
Arcade nerd.
Yeah, arcade
People will be
nerd.
like, never heard of that.
Yeah, so what is that? Is it a new channel? We got to check it out. Yeah, so this is the section of the show where we talk about what we're working on. Mark, why don't you kick it off? Let us know what you've been doing.
I'll let you know what I did and stuff since the last show, so that you'll be informed.
Sounds good.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, I went to Disneyland. That was great. There were no arcades there whatsoever. That was sad.
Wow.
Not even a single one?
Not at the parks. And yeah,
yeah.
It is just, and we snooped around too. We were looking around the old Starcade area. They don't even have the neon up anymore.
Yeah, there's something interesting to me. They used to have an arcade called Starcade. And how does that work when there was a Starcade and they apparently still own the copyright?
I don't know. Maybe you're flattered because Disney has ripped you off.
Right.
I
don't know.
Starcade.
It is weird.
Yes. There was an LA bar arcade scene, but it left me feeling kind of dry. There were some places. There's Robotron, I think, is closed forever.
There was a place called Robotron?
Yeah, that's an older, arcade that was a private place. I think John Jacobson did a review of it, but that's no longer around.
Interesting.
Yeah, so nothing really grabbed me, and most of it opened up later at night, so we couldn't go and have a little lunch.
Interesting.
Let's see what else. Tomorrow I was going to go to the Game Preserve, which is at 473 Sawdust Road, Spring, Texas, 77380.
Nice. Little plug there.
Yeah, but they had a swap meet set, and it's going to rain because we're in Texas, and so we're not going to do it. We're going to postpone it. That's okay.
Wow.
And what else is going on? I got 3 arcade games recently. I have a Mortal Kombat 4 in my garage, and I need to technically assess it, but my garage door is coming apart because
Mortal Kombat 4? Who played that?
Well, I mean, past San Antonio, I mean, I drove from Houston, it was 5 hours, and they had...
To the Mexican border, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, there were border patrol people actually talked to us and made sure, what's inside of this game. And
nice accent. I like
PCB. Hey, I'm just using the locals accent. How dare you? Okay, now listen closely. I picked up a Rampage World Tour.
Yeah.
A Mortal Kombat 4 and a Mortal Kombat 1 cabinet, and a Miss Pac-Man cabinet.
Interesting.
And I paid $800, so it was pretty good. It was a good deal, right? Good grab.
That's good.
That's great.
That sounds good. Yeah.
So I haven't looked at them because again, my garage door is coming apart. So I have to figure out. Okay, people are going to come fix my garage. What am I going to do with this DeLorean that I have?
Nice.
Let's see. I think that's everything I have to say. Except I want to say congratulations to Jason. Congratulations, by the way, on MGC, but congratulations to Aaron, different guy, on his purchase of like an acre and a half or something of land.
Whoa.
In Conroe. He is one step closer to his barn dominium dream.
Barn dominium.
He just needs to sell his house, and then he can empty all 5 of his storage units.
That is funny.
And mine. He's even like talking about making a space so that I can rent storage out of his house.
Oh, Ryan's in the chat. He says his one word. It says horked.
Horked.
The heck is that even about?
Horked.
All right. This is highly irregular, but I am home alone right now, and my dog is barking like son of a gun. So, let's take a little break.
Okay.
Never mind. It's all fixed. Somebody was coming in the house. That was the problem. Okay. We're not taking a little break. So, Jason, tell us what you've been up to in the hobby lately.
Well, just recently I fixed an Omega Race board, and I put it on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, look, I got it working," and now I have 15 Omega Race boards I got to fix.
Wow.
So now I'm kind of buried in that, and I've been winding Vector yoke coils for Vector arcade machines.
Okay.
So now I'm kind of buried in that. I gotta wind 7 tonight. That's my goal, to wind 7 coils tonight, so I can ship them, by Monday or so.
By the way, is that Eliminator and Frontiers up there?
Yeah, hell yeah.
ZZ Top, Eliminator, and Journey Frontiers. Those are 2 of the best albums ever, man. That's good stuff. So that's cool. So, tell us about the Omega Race thing. These are battery damaged, or what are you doing? Jumping traces?
Yeah. I've been making videos on YouTube, and I do one video where I show you how to strip that board down and literally have nothing but clean copper traces. Because as you may know, with battery damage, it's kind of hard to solder onto anything, so you got to strip it down to bare copper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're using like SOS pads for that, or what are you doing?
I'm using fine grade sandpaper.
Yeah. 2000 grit.
Oh well, I'll bring it up to like 1000 grit, like 1000.
Yeah.
It's tricky because you don't want to go nuts, but you still got to get it down to copper.
Right. Right. And then the solder will stick, and you can jump whatever you want.
Yeah.
So that's good advice for anybody that's trying to restore something. If it's had damage like that and you have to go invasive, you gotta use something that'll get you down below that flux, below all the junk that they built that thing up with, down to that copper, and then you can solder on whatever you want. We're always trying to give restoration advice on the show, aren't we? Actually, we're not always trying to do it, but we do occasionally.
They even sell this stuff now. It's like a spray, and it's new solder mask. And so you sand all that crap off, and it looks like crap now, but you can actually spray the solder mask back on and make it look, halfway decent, like no one ever messed with it.
Nice.
After acid damage, you know.
You got to know what you're
cool.
doing. I'm getting a call. What am I getting a call for?
Who's calling you?
Nobody important.
Aw.
Just going to turn that off for the show. You know, that's always fun. Have somebody calling. Hey, Paul Saranen. Good to have you on. C4 is good too. For what? You're going to blow up the machine? Am I
C4.
right? What is he talking about?
I don't know. I mean, I'm Googling it, and I only see explosives, and the it looks like law enforcement. agencies just
C4 is
flagged
great for like blowing up the entire building.
Unfortunately, that's the answer for a lot of these guys fixing Omega races.
Oh, well, you know, if you've been...
Or the 60-1, maybe, you know, they'll play 60 games after that now, you know. That'd be cool.
What do you think about these reproduction boards? Have you bought one of those?
Well, what reproduction boards? There's all kinds. Which ones?
Omega Race.
Oh, yeah, no, I just picked one up. Matter of fact, Brian Armitage, I just fixed 2 repro boards for him.
Sweet.
And so anyways, in the process, I got myself in a repro. And I'm actually, this may sound nerdy, but I'm going to go nuts. When I populate mine, I got clear sockets. They sell clear sockets.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so I'm going to put LEDs under all the sockets, and I actually buffed out the 2 metal pieces that go on the circuit board. I actually buffed them out to like a mirror finish. And I know. Because I'm retarded.
That's so funny. You're going to just like open up the hood, and there's my shiny LED.
It'd be like a pimped out Omega Race.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I had an Omega Race cocktail. I sold it. The thing was mint. I shouldn't have sold it, but I did.
Ah. Who got it? Is it a local sale or
no? No. It was a dude in that one went to New York, I think.
I should put that on my. I would like an Omega Race cockpit. Did you say cocktail?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of the cocktails.
Yeah.
I only like the Atari cocktails because I think they're the superior table. You can raise them up. You can use them as high tops. There's a lot of cool features that a lot of cocktails don't have.
I gotta admit, Warlords looks cool. Tempest cocktail, Space Duel cocktail. Those are some cool looking cocktails, but it takes the space of like 3 games. You know what I mean? You gotta have a chair on each side. You gotta have the cocktail itself.
Yep.
Well, that's why I like the Ataris is because you can raise them up
and stand up.
Right. It's pretty neat because that's where me and my wife split a bottle of wine over the Centipede cocktail right now. Oh, and speaking of, I reproed 20 Atari cocktail doors that go on things like Warlords and Asteroids and all that. Finally got it all done, and I'm gonna give a little bit of a discount because I think that it took too long and they're not exactly what I wanted, but people are gonna have them in their machines. It's gonna be fun. Stay tuned.
That sounds good.
Yeah. What about? Wait, have we all talked about what we did?
No.
Did Adam talk about what he did?
I know.
Just kind of blank it out because I talked to Adam for like an hour and a half while he was driving back.
Yeah, that was a rough drive. I appreciate you giving me a little.
Hey, were you alone in the car? I thought somebody was with you.
No, Lily, but she was asleep in the back.
Oh, thank
19,
God! I was like, oh my God, his step, whatever daughter thing was going on. I was like, Jesus, did I say anything off color?
No, you didn't.
She was asleep. Okay, good.
You sure? No, you didn't at all. No, it was good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so what have I been working on? Well, I mentioned on the last show that my Road Blaster's cockpit went up for sale. That sold to FizzGig in California.
FizzGig!
Cheers. So, I'm glad that he got it. He was one of the first to inquire about it. He was also the first person to say, hey man, I want this thing definitively, and I want you to ship it to me, and I will pay for the shipping. Everyone else was kind of like, hemming and hawing. Oh, can you pallet it for me? What? No, I don't want to do any of the work. Like, if you want to buy it, come and get it. $500 for that thing is a pretty good deal. It was a pretty rare cockpit, machine. So,
okay,
cockpit.
Pit.
So,
cocks
and pits.
Pits.
Yeah. So, I'm glad that it's gone. And then I went to this little convention. Ironically, Jason and I didn't even meet. Went to MGC last weekend, Friday the 13th. Blizzard hit Minnesota, and we escaped it just in time to arrive in Milwaukee to have it hit Milwaukee. So my ride back was real fun. But I got a lot of really cool stuff. I got a lot of old Pac-Man stuff. There was a guy there that had picked up someone's Pac-Man collection. So anything you could think of, frisbees, plushes, glassware, lunch boxes, TV trays. There was a friggin' Pac-Man top. You push down on the top and it spun around. It was just everything. And I've never been a huge Pac-Man fan, but ever since I restored that Pac-Man machine for the Mall of America, event, I've had sort of a rekindled interest in that stuff from the 80s. And even as terrible as the TV show was, I got a TV show lunchbox, which is hilarious. It is a terrible TV show, by the way. I don't know if you've watched it as an adult, but wow.
I was like, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So,
Marty Ingalls, come on.
Christine beat the Oregon Trail, so she got to Oregon. That was pretty cool.
She beat it. What'd she beat it with?
Well, she made it to Oregon. That's she didn't die of dysentery. She did have 5 people in her party, and Lily did die of cholera or something.
She ate the cheese or something.
But the other people got sick, but they were healed by the magic potions in the game, I guess. Well, there's no magic potions, but they have medicine and stuff. Anyway, if you ever played it was on the Apple IIe. It was pretty cool. Lots of really awesome stuff there. We'll be talking a little bit more about that in a little bit. We did play a little bit of Billy Mitchell was there. Walter Day was there. Richie Knuckles was there. They were walking around doing their thing. And then Eugene Jarvis was there. Ben Heck was there. Cosmotrons was there. They're on the show next week, by the way.
Cosmotron.
Yeah.
Wait, immediately next week or in 2 weeks?
Immediately next week.
Yeah. Okay.
On Thursday.
Yeah.
It's going to be too much for Mark.
I show up every time. You see me. I'm texting Dan. Damn it, Dan. Come on.
Where the hell are you? But yeah, so not a whole lot as far as I put a whole bunch of stuff on the walls. I bought that's pretty cool. There's a little Game Boy case there. Very nice. So, I put a whole bunch of stuff on the walls in the arcade, in my basement arcade. So it's starting to look more and more like an Applebee's from the 90s. There's stuff on the wall restaurant,
I'll have to see that. I haven't seen your basement in a long time. I'm still plotting. You have a party on the 12th or the 20th? What is it?
12th, yeah.
The 12th, okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Kids are allowed 4 to 8, and then after that it's 8 to midnight's adults. And adults only, if you know what I mean.
That's where we...
And I think you do.
Take our shoes off or something? What
yeah,
happens?
no, it turns into a key party.
The bar opens. Are you done with your bar refurb?
No. First week of May, it's supposed to go in.
Okay.
Yeah, I have faith. I just sent him some more money, so I hope he's working on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be sad if it's not in. It'll be like, well, this is where the bar would be.
This is our bar hole.
Right? Yeah, no. I don't really care. So we don't have a whole lot of, news, but maybe we should move on to that section, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing in there that I think is worth talking about. Maybe two.
All right, let's check it out.
It's the Arcade News with Adam Stevens.
Ha! So it's the Arcade News, and the headline for today is, what do you call a bar with vintage arcade games? Whatever you do, don't call it a barcade. So this came from Pilot Online, sort of a business consumer article that this lovely lady wrote. And I find it funny because, you know, a few years ago, what was that? A few years ago, I had a little trouble with this too, but so after the pilot ran a story, this is the pilot online, after they ran a story on a group that wants to open a bar with a vintage arcade game, a Brooklyn, New York-based company reached out to the newspaper about its use of the term barcade to describe businesses fusing the two concepts. Though the story explained that the rival businesses can't use the word because it's the brand name of the chain, barcade had style suggestions. You may use natural terminology such as
neutral.
Oh, sorry, neutral.
Yes.
You may use neutral terminology such as game bar or arcade bar to refer to businesses other than our own, be it as a description of the other game bars or the overall arcade bar concept, the email said, rather than a generic version of our trademarked brand name, Barcade. I think that's just funny because I think last year I reported a little bit on this. Well, not reported, but I shared a story where I was actually approached by their legal team, and they said, you cannot use this name. I registered valleybarcade.com and one other domain name, and they're like, you can't do that. It's ours, and here's why. So, you know, I got together with a lawyer friend of mine who knows a little bit about IP, and he said, yeah, you could fight it, but you'll end up going to New York, and they'll win anyway, so you'll end up spending a bunch of money to lose. And so I just negotiated with them, and they actually were kind enough to buy the domain names from me that I had registered, and I bought a Centipede machine. That's the moral of the story, you know. So that's the moral of the story. Yeah, and MGC news. Jason, let's talk a little bit about MGC.
Well, all right. I don't know. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear?
Well,
about?
First of all, it
ended up being a good show.
Brand new venue, brand new,
yeah.
Wisconsin Center. What did you think?
Double the size. It was pretty cool. I haven't been there for several years, and last time it was in a different location, of course, but it seemed a lot smaller, and so I'm impressed with the size of it now.
Well, I will tell you, I've been going for the last 6-7 years, and last year the Sheraton was busting at the seams. Just incredible. They could not, I mean, they had so many people going through that place, and it was, everybody knew where stuff was because they had been there before, but if you're a newcomer, it was kind of a sprawling mess. I thought it was a lot more organized this year in many respects.
There was one thing that I thought would have been, they could have done it a little differently. And This is just my opinion.
For sure.
Downstairs, there was all these rooms. There was so much more to the show.
Right.
I don't know if everyone even seen it.
Nope. I think the first day they walked through telling people go downstairs. There's a whole nother level, a different level, and nobody came by through for the rest of the show to tell anybody. So.
Yes, there was. Geez, Doc Mack was there. He had a whole room loaded with games.
Galloping Ghost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what's the other place? Not Starcade. It was there's another arcade in Illinois. What's it called?
Not Barcade.
Oh man.
Well,
back.
Was it Hudson Arcade?
No, look it up.
Just guessing now.
Arcade, Illinois. I feel bad now.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know the guy. He was in Tim McVeigh's.
Logan's Hardware.
Yeah.
Logan's Hardware. That's what I meant. Oh, that's actually what I meant.
Logan's Hardware, yes, but also it was Star World's arcade, which is I think the oldest arcade in Illinois, the longest running arcade in Illinois. Galloping Ghost, of course, is the largest.
Yes.
They claim to be the largest in the world.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, have you been there?
Although, yes, I filmed with John Jacobson last Thanksgiving.
Jacobson, Jingleheimer Schmidt?
Johnny Jacobson. And although, hey, Grinkers is expanding. Did you see he's adding 50 more games? Like, I think one of the two businesses to either side of him went bust.
Really?
Yes, it's awesome. They just turned on the first red light bulb in there, in that new space.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Grinkfest is amazing. I have to go this year. I have to.
Well, it's October 12th through the 15th, I believe.
Yeah.
Open till 2 a.m. every night.
$1 sandwiches, $1 taps.
Well, I think it's half price sandwiches, $1 tabs. I may have misspoke when I said that last.
Oh.
But let's see. The Arcade Hangouts crew are taking care of everything. They just opened up, I guess, a thread on Clav about it, so you can say that you're going to go there and get yourself a spot. They have 30 rooms that you can, ask for a discount on at the. Is it the Hyatt, I guess?
Oh,
yeah.
Very cool.
Grinkers. You ever thought about going there, Jason?
A lot of times I'm kind of limited on how far I can travel because I'm a poor man. But I've been wanting to go. I've been hearing all kinds of good stuff. But first off, where is it again?
Eagle, Idaho. It costs nothing to to actually go to the Grink Fest. They don't charge a fee for entry at all. I think you even get a T-shirt for free.
Really?
And again, beers are $1. If you could subside on liquor for 3 days, you don't even need to eat. But sandwiches are also half price, and they're delicious.
They are. They're gourmet sandwiches made by the Grinkers staff.
Yes,
and they're fantastic.
Yeah, and usually you can find somebody that you can hang out in a room and sleep on the floor or split a bed or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
I guess physically getting there is a challenge.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, but it's not, going to Idaho isn't as big a ticket as going to California.
No, and that Boise airport is nice.
It is
very small.
It's small. It's very easy. You literally you land and you're in Eagle within 40 minutes.
Or less. That's with traffic.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend renting a car because you're so close to the airport.
So close. Or just hitch a ride. There is I would come and get you actually, Jason, if you go.
Yeah.
I'd gladly do that.
All right.
Yeah, we would hook you up.
That's right. We pick up all former guests for free.
I think we can.
One time I messed up and didn't pick up 34K when somebody had told me to go get them. I feel very bad. Sorry, Andrew.
Oh my gosh.
Never again.
Andrew's great. Met him at Grinkers for the first time.
Yeah.
Very talented fellow.
Very talented and tall.
So
let's all mention tall.
Yeah, so very tall. Very tall. So, Jason, what else did you find interesting about the show? Who did you interface with? Tell us some of the highlights.
Well, all right. I'm going to tell you a lengthened story from the beginning.
All right.
Some of you may not know, but if you watch my YouTube channel, you might know. But I invented a modification that allows you to use a 19-inch black and white, asteroid-style monitor and hook it up to a Vectrex. That way you can have Vectrex with a big giant screen. Okay. Well, anyways, another guy by the name of Tom Dunk, who I ended up finding out he's a really good guy. He's a good guy. Don't get me wrong here. But people were telling me on Facebook, they're saying, "Hey, man, this guy is trying to steal your thunder." They're trying to say, "Well, he's trying to say he invented it and whatever." And I thought, yeah, whatever, I don't care, And after a while, it started eating at me, and so I thought, you know what? If he is, maybe I'll try to steal his thunder. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a color Vectrex arcade machine, and I'm going to put it right next to his thing and be like, yeah, that's right. That's color, But so anyways, I talked to my boss, who just happened to be selling video game console stuff at that show, and I says, hey, can I please tag along with you guys, And so we worked that deal. I work at his booth. He basically paid my way to the show, paid the hotel and all that. So I ended up meeting Tom Dunk. He's actually the coolest dude in the world. And he actually improved it. He made it how Vectrex has overlays that goes over the screen. He made an automated thing. You press a button and the overlay changes. It's pretty badass, So, anyways, I had a day and a half to, what is that? What? I had a day and a half to make a color Vectrex, and it was a lot of it was just an idea on a piece of paper, like this will probably work, and so I got some proto board, and it's like a hairy mess. It's not professional looking at all, but I just want to at least get it going for the show,
So I'm a little confused. Okay, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's awesome.
Okay.
So you met him at the show.
Yes.
And everything was legit. Nobody was mad at each other.
No, he's the coolest dude in the world. I just was listening to what some crap other people were saying.
Yeah, that's trouble, isn't it? You got to watch out.
Yeah.
But that's good. Well, that's a good experience. So what was the highlight of the show for you? What was the most fun thing for you there?
Well, to be honest, most of the time I was stuck working behind the booth for the boss. And there's a guy that I respect that I met there. Well, there's a bunch of guys I respect that I met there, but one of them was Ben Heck.
Oh yeah,
and,
he's a great guy.
I like the YouTube channel. I mean, he seems like a good guy, but this, to be honest, I'm gonna bash Ben Heck a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
No. There's been three different occasions that I've met Ben Heck in person, and each time he kind of gave me the cold shoulder, and he was kind of, and I wasn't trying to, bother him or ruin his day or nothing. I'm just saying, hey, what's going on? I love your channel. See you later, kind of thing. And he just kind of was a dick. I'm just saying it, maybe I misread him 3 different times in a row. I don't know. Maybe I did something that, like right now, that might piss him off. I don't know.
I guarantee he does not listen to this show. You're fine.
That's alone in his bathroom right now.
Why does it gotta be the bathroom?
According to the webcam, I don't know.
The show's getting weird.
Sorry.
So, it was an awesome show. I ran into Ben Heck too, and the funny thing is I had to chase him down because we asked him to be on the show last year when I met him, and he said, "Yeah, that'd be great." And then I called him up, and he couldn't remember who I was, and so I kind of freaked him out a little bit. And he's like, "How did you get my number?" I'm like, "Dude, we had a drink together, and you gave me your number." But I had to go to apologize to him. Like, I didn't mean to freak you out or anything. It's Adam from Rcade Radio. Check us out sometime. We'd love to have you on the show. And he reaffirmed that he'd love to do the show. So I think we'll call him up in about 10 months when he's forgotten and do this whole thing over again. That'll be fun, wouldn't it? So, yeah, great. I loved it. MGC. Really quickly, also at the very end, Billy Mitchell, we did this, we played his official statement from MGC. Mark, what did you think of that?
It sounded very he worked through what he needed to say, and it was interesting saying that the new regime, at Twin Galaxies, versus the original regime. And then I don't believe this part about reaching back 34 years because I guess by canceling all the high scores, it sort of does reach back, but technically they're only talking about a couple of entries, and they're very specific about what caused the expulsion. And so I think his speech sort of skirts around that, but that's to be expected. I heard that everybody was like treating him like everything was normal, and it was great. He was being nice and taking pictures, and it was great.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. I mean, I don't know about you, Jason, but I shook hands with him. I mean,
he's a friend of mine. I mean, I talked to him, and it's it's hard to. I don't want it to be true, but like I was saying earlier, it's just it's just the way it is. I believe that his tapes are made or something. They're not arcade.
The evidence is pretty damning, and the problem is I wish if it were true. So either he believes it's not true, and he's going to stand by it, or he knows it's true and he's lying about it. But I get so tired of this. I just wish that people would own up. Like if you freaking cheated, embrace the scores that you did not cheat at, right? So you got 988,000. You were the first person to score that high on any freaking video game, and then you get a 256 screen perfect Pac-Man score, and now you're going to taint it with a couple of MAME. I don't know. It's so frustrating, and I love the guy. I think he's larger than life. I think, but I also at the same time I'm frustrated. It's like, God dang it, dude. Just own up to it,
Right. I mean, right now we're in the middle of the 8 words that you should never say. I did not have relations with that woman. He should get his mea culpa speech together.
Right.
And, everybody has forgiven Bill
Read
Clinton pretty
my
much.
lips, no new taxes.
That was the first Bush. This guy's confused. That was a mistake on his part.
I think he said KNOW, new taxes.
Sure.
But, anyway, the whole thing is that people just need, and I was talking to several people about this. It doesn't change the fact that Billy Mitchell basically, he's larger than life and all that, but he has set records, and he is an excellent video game player. I watched him play at MGC, Miss Pac-Man. It's unbelievable. I sit there, and he's like 20 minutes. He's already beaten my score that took me longer than anybody in my family to get. I get like 173,000 in Miss Pac-Man. I think I'm doing pretty good. And then Billy Mitchell rolls up to a game, and he's like not even off one guy, and he's one gal, and he's already killing my score. The guy is freaking brilliant at video games. There's no disputing it. So, yeah, a little disheartening. What I did enjoy was, seeing Richie Knuckles and Walter Day. They're so warm and so interested in meeting up with everybody at all these things. Walter in particular is just the sweetest guy, and he remembers you. When you meet Walter,
yeah, he does.
He's all about relationships, and I think that it really he embraces the entire arcade culture in a way that nobody else has on this planet. So it's just fun to interface with him, I think. I wish that I had gotten to see Eugene Jarvis. I was doing a lot of networking and talking to people, so I did a lot of shaking babies and kissing hands. But what do you do? That's a Danism, I think. But
Dan's not here. Let's not mention him until he comes back.
I know, that jerk.
Where are you, Dan? I'm gonna text him again.
So anyway, I don't want to. We might have another episode on this at some point, but I think it's been beaten to death. What I'd like to see is, there's a lot more things in the community that we can focus on other than who did what in a score. I've always said that there's a clear dichotomy and a symbiosis with the guys that actually restore these machines and the guys that can continually score high on these machines. I think that we feed off each other when we, Jason, you're fixing Omega Race boards, you're building out these, Vectrex arcade games, you're doing things for the community that are interesting. You enjoy that part of it. Maybe you're like me and you're not the best player, but you love what you do. You love getting them to play the way they're supposed to play, and hopefully we'll get a good score down the line. Then there's the Billy Mitchells, there's the Todd Rogers, there's the Steve Weebies, there's all these guys that can set these incredibly high scores, and they're in a different world, the same world, but it's a little bit different. So I think we feed off each other. And what I would like to see us do is focus on the positive things. Like, dude, what are you're resurrecting Omega Race boards? That's like you're gonna make 300 pop easy, maybe 400 easy. Those boards are not easy to come by, and everybody's looking for one, and nobody wants to build their own board out. So people like you are just incredibly important to the hobby. So anyway, that's what I kind of. Go ahead.
Right now, I'm working with a guy. His name is Fred Konopaska, and are you guys familiar with Cinetronics Vector arcade machines?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Fred is designing this board right here. It's a blank board right now. This is a prototype. And what this does is, I already built one out and it doesn't work, so I got to figure out the bugs. And then Fred's gonna make a new one. But what this is gonna do is, this is going to allow you to use an Atari monitor. So in other words, you can get a monitor from an Asteroids or something like that, which is common, easy to come by, sort of, and stick it in a Cinetronics game. And I think this is a huge ordeal, and I don't even think Fred realizes what a big deal this is, because it's gonna keep a lot of these Cinematronics games alive.
Mark, don't you have a Cinematronics Vector game?
I have a Star Castle, and I haven't tried to troubleshoot it yet. It's still in the storage.
I would love to have a Star Castle.
But I can tell you one thing: there are asteroids coming out of my butt out here.
Yeah. You have asteroids that come out of your butt. You should.
Well, pretty much.
You might want to see a doctor about that.
Not directly.
Your cute wife just came in and refreshed your drink.
She did. That was Sam. I texted her. I'm like, wine me. and reply, wham.
I love that it's Friday. And it's 420. Is anybody enjoying 420 right now?
It's 420. Well, she is. Are you enjoying 420? What foods do I want? Anything grilled.
I will take a whole chicken and please stuff it.
2 whole chickens. 2.
That's total entertainment.
He says 3 whole chickens. I forget. Blues Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think it's time to move on to the next segment. I want to.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Back to the Cade with Time Runner.
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Hey, jump into that time machine with us. We're going back to April 20th, 1983, 35 years.
35 years ago.
35 years ago. Back in 83, there was a mass burial of unsold Atari video game cartridges, consoles, and computers in a New Mexico landfill. And then if you jumped ahead to April 2014, Fuel Industries, Microsoft, and a few others worked with the Mexican government, excavated the site to validate the contents of the landfill as part of a documentary called Atari Game Over. That excavation revealed discarded games and hardware, which were promptly sold by the city to the highest bidder. That was 3 years ago, pretty much this week.
Ernie Klein made an appearance in that movie.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's before people knew who the hell Ernie Klein was. Hey,
well, unless you had read Ready
plug
Player One, right? Go ahead.
If nobody's seen Ready Player One, go see it right now. Make sure you see it twice. I saw it twice.
Oh my
gosh. We need a sequel to Ready Player One. That would be so
Are you
cool.
serious?
That'd be great, man. Come on. At the very end, I think that they were sort of leading on where they asked Holiday, what are you? Did you die? And he says yes, but he says it kind of a weird way. And I'm like, oh, sequel door being open. What? What's your review of that movie, Jason?
I didn't see it yet. I know.
Mark just about fell over there.
So good. It hasn't gone bad yet.
My God.
Everybody thinks, oh, Mark, you love it because there's a DeLorean in it. And I'm like, well, yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be the main reason you love it.
They don't even talk about the DeLorean.
Did you read the book, Mark?
Yes, I've read it twice, and I listened to the Will Wheaton audiobook at least one time, almost, maybe 90%.
I would just say I enjoyed the film. I'm not going to it again. Sorry.
I did watch Back to the Future earlier today.
No, okay. Win. Yeah. I think that's winning. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I guess I'm going to give you a point for that one. But you're going to get reset to 0 when we get to our third segment. The second segment is what was going on at the box office on April 20th, 1983. I'll tell you.
The box office.
Chuck Norris's Lone Wolf McQuade was the #1 film. Are you familiar with this? Let me tell you about it. That's a rhetorical question. In the film, J.J. McQuade, he's a former Marine and a Texas Ranger. Shock. It's, maybe is this the basis for the series? I don't know. Walker, Texas Ranger. Remember that? Did you ever watch that? Did you like that?
Saw 4 episodes.
Okay, fine. Of course, this guy, he prefers to work alone, and he lives in an old rundown house in the middle of nowhere with
the
a
hell
wolf.
You say?
The hell I say? A pet wolf. Not just some wild wolf that is annoying him. That's right.
That's my wolf.
We're not even going to talk about whatever the supposed story is. We're just going to move on to what was the best thing on TV that
What was
night.
in TV? What was going on in television?
So well, let me tell you. The not very often seen Zorro and Son.
Oh my God.
Yes, an American television Western
No way.
1983, no less. Based on the character Zorro that aired on CBS, created by Walt Disney Television. It starred Henry Darrow, the famous Henry Darrow, as Zorro. And then it's funny, I'm reading this. Don Diego, that's Zorro's real name. And I'm like, nobody knows what Zorro's real name is, and nobody cares. And Paul Regina, oh my gosh, that is a stage name just waiting to happen, as his son Zorro Jr. So tonight's episode was called A Fistful of Pesos. How original. And apparently it centered around the bad guy, Pico. Pico?
Are you going to relate this back to arcades?
He frames Zorro by dressing up as him and robbing stores, hoping to turn people against him. It didn't work, just like with Billy Mitchell. Boom!
Was there ever a Zorro arcade game?
God, I hope not, because what are you going to do? Just make a Z all the time in the game? Come on.
I think there was, actually. I'm going to look it up right now. Yeah, I'm going to look it up. I think there was a Zorro arcade game. The chat is lighting up.
Randall saying, yes, there's a game called Zorro. And I'm like, was he in the Three Stooges game somewhere? Oh, people say it's this Commodore 64 game.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
You guys, all right, you guys, get ready to refresh because oh my gosh.
We're starting our segment. I hope you have that music ready.
Destiny of Zorro, Shadow of Zorro, and Zorro.
Oh my God, they made 3 games.
Moby
Did
Games,
anybody play it?
Commodore 64, made by US Gold, one of the worst
game producers ever.
Yeah, they were terrible. They made some crappy games. There's a whole bunch of films. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they actually used the same theme song from the 1957 television series Zorro in this 1983 version of the show.
Yeah, I will say
I think it had 5 episodes and it got canceled.
I will say that I did like the Antonio Banderas Zorro.
I did too. Didn't they make like 2 of those?
They did. I loved the first one immensely. I think the second one was okay too, but the first one was unbelievably good. So watch it. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic.
Look, it's Zorro!
Zorro! Yes.
Eagle Pass, Texas accent again. Sorry.
Oh, so are we ready for the next segment?
What's in the Juke?
Hello and welcome to What's in the Juke.
Yeah! I like how you cut yourself off. That's beautiful, though.
Well, I had to. I need to shorten that clip.
Hello and welcome to What's in the Juke.
Hello and welcome to What's in the Juke.
Okay.
Jason, this is the best part of the show.
Next to the interview.
Let's be real here.
Yeah,
let's be real.
We picked 10 songs at random. We're going to play a teeny tiny little part of it, and then the people who are listening in the live stream are going to try to guess it.
Yep. So everybody, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to refresh, which means we have to really give them like 25 seconds, right? So everybody refresh your browsers. Let's make sure this is legit. Oh.
What was that? Did you drop a basketball? I don't have your stream up.
We're getting ready. We're getting ready. Oh, I'm almost out of cocktail. I have to work on that. It is Friday, right? I can have another one.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, not fair. Not fair. Is that roasted corn? Oh my god.
Everything's roasted. We're going natural.
Oh my gosh. That one of yours.
Yeah, she even roasted cantaloupe? With honey and what? Cayenne. All right.
Honey and cayenne.
Yeah, I'll have to wait till the interview before I start digging into this. Thanks, hon.
Oh.
Love.
Oh, it's so good that we can see it. Now that we're on, camera, it just makes everything so more intimate.
Or gross.
Okay, ready for the first clip, everybody? All right, here we go. I don't see Randall in there. I see Ryan. And Ryan was at MGC. Yeah. Well, it is Friday, and it is hard for people. And Casey's not here. I think he's out of town. So everybody, Casey's gone. This is your chance to win.
He's probably listening to us while waiting in a line. Maybe.
I bet he is. He's probably like, here we go. All right, here we go. All right. So that isn't a very good clip. Should I jump to the middle? Okay, Here we go. Oh, that's terrible.
Well, that's a good one.
Okay. Maybe one more little clip. That's it. No more.
That's pretty good. Now getting the actual band that sang that. Oh, holy crap!
Ryan, Golden Earring, Twilight Zone, first hit. Oh, and you know what? I was supposed to download the clips from Karate Champ so we could do full point, half point. Full point, half point. So
okay,
you have
to do it.
Yeah. So here he goes. Full point. That's my impersonation of the Karate Champ.
So real.
Okay, this one's gonna be too easy. Here we go. And the chatters are.
Some kind of, is that like an Arabian song or something?
I think it might be. Yeah, we might play that.
Oh, Eric got it.
MJ beat it. Yeah, British got it. So it's a half point for RC Cola.
Eric.
Who's RC Cola 777?
Eric Styx, and he's a Houstonian and an awesome collector.
Well, RC Cola, welcome to the chat. It's good to have you on board.
Yeah.
On a Friday, no less. Thank you guys for joining in. Dave from Buffalo. God, that guy is. He has a
podcast. We're gonna yank him onto the show. Trust me.
We would definitely need him on the show. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna play a little more of that song. All right, and here we go. So the next one is. It's not even fair. It is not even fair. Like, okay, that was like, really? Oh. Yeah.
Eric got it.
Mr. Roboto, Dave. Oh, yeah. Ryan got it. No. Yeah. Mr. Robot. Oh, he put the O on the end. Yes, he got it. Ryan is ahead of the game right now. Oh, RC Cola, dude.
He did, see?
Wow. I accidentally played like a second of the next song and he got it. You should get 2 points for that.
How did he do that?
I don't know. I just played like literally a second of the next song.
Go ahead and play it.
That's hilarious. You guys didn't even get to the freaking guitar riff and he's like, got it. I'm like, seriously. I'm continually amazed. And, I am amazed, but I feel like I would be able to compete as well. We should, at some point, we need to bring someone on the show and have him like go against us, right?
We can be on Eric's show and make him do this to us.
I think I'm gonna run some merchandise. I'm gonna do some swag, and then we're gonna have a contest, and whoever beats like the guest gets a T-shirt, something like that. Would that be cool? What do you think, Jace?
I don't know.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
Next track. Oh my God. Yeah, it's the intros are so. I mean, seriously,
iconic.
They are. Like, I think there's a lesson in that, where boom, it's an '80s song. And it's so, Dexy's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen, Ryan got it all in one sentence. And RC Cola right behind him.
Right.
Wow. You guys are quick.
We got a tie.
Okay, here we go. I can't believe Randall's not on. Did he get banned from watching our show?
No.
Here we go. That is a great intro.
Yes.
That could be 2 songs, actually.
Yeah, I could see that.
Jeopardy.
Yes.
Yeah, we got Jeopardy. That's the first half.
Har har.
Nope, not the band Har Har. It is the Greg Kinn Band. That's a half point for RC Cole and a half point for Ryan.
Yep, 3-3.
All right, here we go. Seriously.
So good.
I don't even know what to say. Jason, are you picking up all these that we're laying down?
The last two I didn't.
Nice work, RC Cola. I think they're neck and neck now. Aren't they tied?
Well, right now Eric is ahead.
He is by like what, half point?
1 point. 1 point.
One whole point. All right, here's the next one. I love that song. It's probably my favorite song by this band.
I like the version that they did on Scrubs, or the singer did.
Oh, the acoustic one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Men at Work.
Yes. Men at Work is true. Oh, shoot. We forgot. I'm going to go over all these songs at the end because in the last show, I remembered that we were like, yes, they got it. And then we don't say what the name of the song is. So when you're listening to the show, it sucks because like the listener's like, well, give us a little release here. Tell us what's going on. Can't get song. Well,
play a little more.
All right, here we go.
Da, 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 da. Takes a long time.
Oh, yeah, he's got the lyrics. Overkill. Ryan, so it's a split point. Half and half. Okay.
Overkill by Men at Work.
Yep.
Right.
I can't get to sleep. I think about the implications.
Yep, it's fantastic. Here we go. Oh, man. Where do I stop this? Could be a horror
Forgot
movie.
about this intro.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, right about there. Yeah.
Duran Rio. Bam. And Dave from Buffalo says, "Oh yeah, Overkill version on Scrubs was awesome." I totally agree. Yeah, I have that. I have the. He's recorded it acoustic a couple times. It's fantastic. And the number one song for this week, everybody, listen up.
Yeah. Oh, what's that?
I think that was the easiest one yet.
That's why I saved it. Right. Eric Stixon got it. He's the winner, 5.5 points, with Ryan just right behind with 4.5 points.
Ryan did not win. Oh, he's going to be mad.
Separate ways, worlds apart. Worlds apart.
Worlds apart, yeah.
Worst music video ever, apparently.
And the attract music for the Journey arcade game.
Yes, one day I will own a Journey. Wait a minute. How's your Journey?
Oh, it's great. There's nothing in it. I still haven't got the art package. I got ways to go, buddy. I got to find a Journey board.
Is it at your house?
I have a beautiful Journey. You guys can't have it.
Yeah.
No, what do you call it? There's a couple different people making the art. Who are you getting the art from?
Rich.
Just curious. Rich?
Yeah.
I suggest you go that route. Yeah.
I got a full package. It was a good deal. And I've had, he's done a lot of my artwork. Well, he's done a lot of everybody's artwork, but like my APB, he did all that stuff. It looks fantastic. And it's all solvent, and there are very few people on this planet that can produce solvent the way he does without it looking like solvent. Because I think if you look at my APB, you wouldn't know it wasn't silk screened, So, but I do have some silk screen stuff from him. I do have, a ton of Phoenix artwork. Phoenix does such a fantastic job. Both those guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Phoenix, in my opinion, does the best Atari silk screening.
Yeah. Well, he does it all from the Atari films. He color matches.
The original,
it's fantastic.
yeah.
I will say that the Warlord's glass is a little bit different color than the original, but it looks fantastic. Yeah. So my Warlord's, I haven't changed out my Warlord's glass because it's good, But I do have the Phoenix glass, so.
You have a Warlord's cocktail?
Yeah.
Oh, badass.
Yeah. That's one of my pride and joys. I got a good deal on that. It's one of the few deals that I made that was actually, a good deal.
Okay, well, if I'm hearing words like Warlords, I'm just curious. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm curious, how many games do both of you guys have?
Oh,
because if you have Warlords Cocktail, that means you're a serious collector now.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm not messing around. We don't just do this for our health.
Right.
No. Yeah, Mark, why don't you start?
I have 60 games. I'm probably sure 5 to 6 of those are just PCBs, like some dupes. So, but at my house right now, there are 33 arcade games in the house and 20 or so in storage.
Wow.
But I also collect movie cars, which is like even harder because they're so big and you have to pay insurance and all this stuff. So
I was wondering when you said you had a DeLorean in the garage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
cool.
Mark is a special guy. He's got a Uncle Rico's van, like from the Napoleon, like it's the one that was used in Napoleon Dynamite.
Wow.
He has.
We drove it through the Houston Art Car Parade, and we all dressed up as Uncle Rico. We had like blue shirts with a little blue thing.
Yeah,
I dragged like a wrestler behind me, on a string. Now I want to do that all the time.
Because people are like, "What are you doing? Why are you dragging a wrestler behind your car?"
Well, some people got it, and some people were like, "Why are you harming that action figure? It never did anything to you." And I'm like, "We don't like it."
Did you find like one that looks just like the one in the movie?
Yeah, I mean, just a similar sized one. It didn't have a lot of articulation and stuff.
So it wasn't like a He-Man doll that you ruined.
No. It was definitely a wrestler. And what's funny is that Aaron, Arcadeology, actually knew, like, oh, that's so-and-so and so-and-so, and I'm like, well, okay.
That's hilarious.
Hey, are there any voicemails?
I think we do. Let's check it out. All right.
Hey, happy Friday, Arcade Radio Siders. It's your buddy, Bob Zarzadek, control panel expert and technician. I'm on foot right now in a blizzard. I'm trekking my way back from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think I'm in what the locals call the woods. There's trees everywhere and stuff. I'm starting to think that I should start finding my way back to what I call the road. Everything here is the woods, it's all white and matches my and stuff. You hear that? I hear like a dog or something. What is that? This is supposed to be my lucky day. It sounds like a pack of little chihuahuas around here. I love miniature animals. It's a lucky thing I got this double pack beef jerky strapped to my behind. Now, where was I?
He does like a beef stick.
Tell me all about it, Adam. Like, spill your guts. Tell me how cool Billy Mitchell was. Stuff like that. Hey,
you were there.
That mama chihuahua doesn't look happy to see me. I'm out of here. Zarzadek out.
That's funny because, if he's coming back from MGC, what was he doing? Did he miss Billy? I mean, Billy was as cool as ever, right? I mean, he's just as cool as a cucumber. Actually, Billy was very standoffish, the way he always is in public. I think if you meet him offline, he's a much different person. I think his persona in public has always been different. So I believe that I met the Billy in public that I always have. And I met the Walter and the Richie that I've always met in public. So, other than that, I can't really comment. I think, they're good guys. And, in general, I think nobody's trying, they're not trying to be like serial killers or anything. And they're generally, holding up the arcade community and happy to be a part of it. So, yeah, they were everything that you would expect them to be, Bob. So, Bob, hopefully you made it home safe because I had a 6.5 hour white knuckle drive home from Milwaukee with terrible weather. So I feel for you, and I hope you made it home safely. That guy has been all over the place. He lives behind Jason. He lives behind a Walmart. Bob Zarzadek. In some storage containers, and he is a control panel expert. So if you ever need any help on a control panel, reach out to Bob. Look at his channel too. He likes to figure out what beverages taste good with a beef stick. So,
oh God,
that's very good to know.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So I think that brings us up to the guest on the show. So. We had to have a little bit of Vector fanfare for you there. So, welcome to the show, Jason Kopp. How you doing?
All right. How are you guys doing?
Great. I think the first question we ask of all of our guests is for you to tell us your arcade origin story. So, when you were a kid, you were a kid? Yeah, go ahead.
First off, I've been collecting arcade machines for about 16 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, I used to collect old computers, computers from the 80s and late 70s. And I would design simple computers like clones and like make the circuit boards on perf boards and do things like that. And I had a garage sale and I had chips all over this table, and no one was biting at this garage sale. Nobody wanted my crap, it was just, I had like processors and RAM and stuff laying out. And some guy came up and he's like, "Oh man, I need this. And so I'm talking to him and I said, "Okay, so you work on old computers?" And he says, "No, I work on I fix arcade machines." And so he took me to this warehouse. We got to talking, and he had like 300 arcade machines in his warehouse. And at that point, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's really cool, but what's the circuit board look like?" "Yeah, check out that circuit board. That's all I cared about." And then after a while, I just kind of got the bug, and I'm like, my first machine was a Centipede Cocktail, which I specifically bought because I was fixing circuit boards for this guy. And I thought, "Oh, perfect test bench. Yeah, okay, let's look at the monitor. Right here's the small area for the circuit board." But after that, now I'm up to 180 machines. And I have about 75 in the house.
What did you say?
I have 180 machines and 75 presently in my house.
In the house?
In the house.
Well, how many do you have, Adam? I have 32. I don't recall you saying how many are in your house.
That is a ton of machines. How do you get them all in there? And you don't have any cocktails.
When I bought this house, this is my new house. New to me house that I've had for 2 years, and that was a major factor. Because arcade machines is like part of my life. It's a huge ordeal for me, and I had to make sure I could find the biggest.
So that's awesome. So back to the arcade origin story. When was the earliest arcade experience you can remember as a kid?
Oh man, I remember being about. It's funny. When I was like 5 years old, it seemed like no one cared. You could be 5 years old, you can go across the city and ride your bike or whatever. No one really bothered. There wasn't like people calling children's services because you weren't watching your kid. But I remember being like 5 years old and riding my bike. You had to have been a good mile away to this one arcade.
That is hilarious.
Just going in there and I was the little kid. There's all the big kids everywhere, and it just seemed like it was kind of intimidating. But I wanted to be there because of that.
So there's a very interesting thing. Catherine DeSpiro was on not too long ago, and she talked about how arcades weren't necessarily the most savory places for kids to hang out. So what was your impression as a younger kid seeing these older kids? Did you see like any drug deals going on? Did you?
No, but I did have my money stolen, and I had a little bag.
Oh, are you kidding me?
One time. Oh yeah.
What a bunch of friggin' jerks!
What's that?
What a bunch of jerks!
Oh yeah.
That's terrible. How much money did you have on you? $5?
Oh man, yeah, not even that probably.
Man,
but it could have been $100 to me at that time.
No kidding. We talk about that frequently on the show. It's like, okay, yeah, you're a kid, and your parents, you go to Chuck E. Cheese or Aladdin's Castle or whatever. They give you a stipend, right? And that stipend is exactly like $5. You have 25 tokens for the entire night, and you spent a lot of time figuring out where you're going to spend that. And sometimes we'd only get like $1, You got pizza and $1 worth of tokens, and then
I'm thinking, what game can I play the longest before that money's gone?
I used to watch people play games all the time because I sucked at them. So I would watch like the Pac-Man players and the Miss Pac-Man players and the guys that could have the long games, and they would get bored, and they're like, "Hey, you want to take over?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." You know?
Oh, somebody war games you, like Galaga war games you.
Yeah.
David Lightman's like playing Galaga, and then some kid gets to take over. You were that kid.
Exactly. I was that kid. He's like, "Do you want to take over?" Oh, it happened to me a few times. But I didn't know at the time, War Games was way before. It was, 82. When did that come out? 82? So, yeah, probably around the same time. Yeah. So it must have been a reflection of the times. So that's cool. So you were a young kid. What are your golden age games then? What are the games that you remember?
Well, I am younger than you guys. See, I was born in '83.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember going to the arcade around the time when all the Street Fighters and that stuff was big and popular. And always in the back of the arcade there was like the junk games. They had all the good stuff up front, and then all the garbage games at that time would have been Pole Position and things like that. Pole Position was my absolute favorite game back then. But so I have to say at that time my most favorite game would have been Pole Position. But
right on.
Later on, it changed when The Simpsons. I remember there was a convenience store down the street.
The Simpsons.
and the Simpsons came in. And well, at that age,
yeah,
I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons. My parents are Christian, and Simpsons rubbed them wrong. And even if
funny.
And they had rules like that even until I was like 18 years old. Oh, you don't want to do that. And so
mm-hmm.
it was the bad thing to do for me to play The Simpsons. And now that I own a Simpsons, I realize that the game is really short and it kind of sucks. It's one of those games that you depending how many quarters you have is how long you could play.
Right.
And I think that aspect kind of ruined it. But
yeah, I think with those kind of games, and then that sort of returns it to the theory that, hey, I only have 1 quarter, so I can only make this game last just so long.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because you are 10 years behind, so your games are going to be slightly different. I'm going to ask you about some of the later 80s games. What did you think of games like APB?
I'm not into that.
Yeah.
To be honest, the only games I collect are early 80s.
Really?
I only have one game that's not early 80s, and that's The Simpsons. Just because that's the one game that kind of hit me.
Well, it's 4-player, right? It's a 4-player game, so that's
yeah.
And that's sort of, you got to have like something like that in your collection to have everybody involved. I think anyway.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. I'm also technically I'm on the edge of the golden age as well. And Mark probably to a degree as well. I mean, we were young. We were really young. So like when Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man and Galaga and Dig Dug and all those games were out, maybe Mark, you and I were the prime age, 10, 12 years old, right? So
yeah, I mean, totally ready. Oh, I heard myself echo.
So Frogger was one of the first games that I watched somebody play, and I thought, wow, that's crazy. And I remember in '83 sitting in the cockpit of Star Wars, and I was 11, and I'm just like, I am Luke Skywalker in this game. It's freaking awesome, I was like blown away. So for you to have that experience with those
younger.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like 10 years. You're 10 years younger, so like,
oh yeah,
you missed that. You missed a lot of that. So if for you to find those games, that's pretty rare. It's for someone your age. Like usually, guys your age are looking for Mortal Kombat right now and Street Fighter and and Altered Beast and maybe that's
Rampage World Tour.
Rampage World Tour. There you go. So for you to be, which I heard the movie, what was it, Rampage? Did it just come out?
It did.
Yeah, how is that? Is that good?
It got tanked. It's like rotten to the core.
Hey, it was #1. I did see the movie. I would say it's a good popcorn flick, but it's literally a one-time see. You will forget what happened like within 2 weeks. But I mean, I had fun, and it was kind of interesting seeing like, oh, are these things going to finally like make buildings collapse and stuff like that. But I mean, that third act where that stuff happens took forever to get to.
Right. Yeah. So
I think it's absolutely amazing.
Rotten Tomatoes has it splatted by the critics, and 81% of the audience liked it, though. So, what do you do?
I think it's amazing to see how so many movies now are arcade related.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those, like I said, things recycle, I guess, as time goes by. But it's amazing how it seems like arcade stuff is coming back, even in the movies.
True that. Very much so. All right, so my next question. So you became hooked on arcade games as a very young kid, and there was an allure there. It's sort of the same mystical allure that we've all had, and you kind of hear that repeated story. So, so what led you to start collecting games?
Well, at first I was just obsessed with the hardware.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I at one time I had over 200 computers, old vintage computers, and I just kind of switched. I got rid of the computers and I just kind of switched over to arcade stuff, because basically the arcade stuff is a computer. It's just it's worth more in the end to me. I have a white screen. Are you guys still there? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we're here. I had to eat corn.
Oh, good. The corn. I see.
200 computers now. How many of those were duplicates?
Oh, several. But I had games like the Altair 8800, Wang, and just a whole bunch of different things. It's
how about
a lot of the things.
TI? Sorry, I'm like thinking of some computers I had. TI 99/4 and 4A.
TI-99-4A. I had the speech module. I had the silver one, the black one, the white one.
Oh,
I had the TRS-80 model 1, 2, and 3. All kinds. I was fascinated. Commodore VIC-20, of course, Commodore 64, right. Commodore 128, Commodore Plus4. I had the house set up like a museum. And really, I just enjoyed that hardware. I thought, wow, I was fascinated by the circuit boards.
Right. And I'm sure you figured out, like, what did you need to do to refresh games? I mean, computers rather, like cap kits and such. Is that something pretty common?
Around that time, let's say 16, 17, 18 years ago,
right.
A lot of them just kind of worked still, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Right. And to be honest, no one gave a shit. It's like, oh, great, you have a big garbage collection. That's really cool. But I seen it differently. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I still actually own all the original arcade. What am I trying to say? All the original computers that I owned when I was a kid, I still have them. Oh. And I even still have the 300 baud modem that I used in 1983. Very cool. So a little bit hoardish, maybe. I don't know.
My absolute favorite computer was the Tandy 1000. It came out in 1986. But my parents got one brand new. They had like a office cleaning business, and they thought we have to have a computer. And so the Tandy 1000. But believe it or not, have you ever heard of a traveling software salesman?
No, I've never got to.
I know that makes no sense, and a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about. But there was, a guy in a suit with a suitcase, knocked on our door, and he says, "Ma'am, do you have an IBM computer at the house?" And
really?
Was no joke. And so
really?
Yes. And so
I want that guy to come to my house.
And he showed demos of all these different games. And so of course I'm like, Mom, I want this. Holy crap. So, so I'm getting all primed up. And I remember the first game, the one first computer game I really remember was it's called Digger. It was a Dig Dug clone for DOS.
That's a fun game, and they redid it for the PS3 and PS4.
And Jason thought we left, and so.
Oh no!
The screen also turned gray.
Sometimes I have to go to the restroom, and
he can't like turn his channel off. He has to.
No, I have to actually use like a curtain. Like there's no curtain for me to say I'm away. It's just this, So it's like it's very crude, and it's a limitation of being video now. So we we were audio only until like 3 weeks ago. We might have to go back to that just so I could take potty breaks.
If you could just print out a picture of you sitting there and then you just slip it in front of the webcam, that would just be perfect.
And I think there's a way to do that in OBS. I'm just like, I haven't had time to test it out. So anyway, we've derailed this now. So sorry about your story. Sorry about but yeah, if we disappear, we should warn people about that. If we disappear, just keep talking. You just keep talking. Yeah. We were listening. In fact,
Vamp.
The funny thing is that if I miss any part of the show, I listen to the show after the show. So like the next week, I will go back and listen to last week's episode just so I can hear how we did. So that... I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to leave you hanging there, buddy.
Sorry, my corn was just like, eat me. And I was like, I'm going to read the next question. What other vector projects have you done?
That Vector is actually my favorite type of arcade machine. Well, just recently I made the world's largest, as far as I know, vector monitor. It's a 36-inch tube, and I'm still trying to figure out what to do with it. I'm thinking maybe make a, there's a guy, I believe his name is also Jason, that he made like a giant, like 14-foot tall Star Wars. And I thought, man, it'd be cool if you put a real vector monitor inside one of those. So I don't know, I want maybe something along that line. I don't know. Well, and besides doing the color Vectrex mod, I don't know. I'm always working on them though, every day.
So why don't you give their listeners a little idea of what you did for the color Vectrex arcade?
Well, do you want me to get technical?
Well.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know because
and I think you can be a little bit of both, right? So, like, first of all, it's not just a Vectrex. Like the Vectrex. First of all, if you don't know what the Vectrex is, it was a console. It was the only console that had vector arcade graphics back in the 80s. And the cool thing about it was it came in its all-in-one inclusive package with a joystick and a couple of buttons. And typically today you can find one between the prices of $150 to $500 depending on the condition and whether it's boxed, etc. You can even pay more than that if they're mint. So, and they're cartridge-based systems, and some of the games were ported, maybe not as well as they could be. Pole Position was ported. Star Trek was ported. Star Trek looks nothing like the arcade game, by the way, but it's still fun. And then it came natively with one game so that you could turn it on and play it immediately. But the cool thing about vector graphics, and I think we should mention this a little bit, is, and you said you love vector graphics, is that it was a unique thing in the 80s. It was one of the few ways you could draw realistic, or well, maybe not realistic, but very fine looking graphics compared to what raster could do at the time, right? So you think of Space Invaders and you think of, little sprites coming down, but to get the 3D effect that you would get out of a vector graphics arcade game such as, Red Baron or Star Wars or those types of games, it was revolutionary, and it was really quite innovative for the time. So they were a huge draw. The cool thing is that Atari came up with all these color vector games, which were fantastic. And so I think the guys that invented the Vectrex console thought, well, let's get this thing on the market because there's nothing else like it. But it was all black and white, and you had overlays and things like that. So for our listeners, that gives you a little bit of background. This is a tiny little 9-inch vertical screen that black and white that is that displays XY graphics, and it's really quite innovative for the time. So
around that time period, let's say a lot of games might have had 320 by 240 pixels. Okay,
right,
or something along those lines, right? Well, for example, Asteroids has 1024 by 1024 points that the DAX will actually allow it to draw. So believe it or not, if you want to consider it the same type of technology of like a vector monitor is very similar to like a high definition television set, like 1080i or something like that. It's but unfortunately you lose some detail, but you gain other things that you can't see on a regular game, But anyways, I used to be into collecting old goofy electronics, and for some reason the Vectrex was the one that always got away, And when I started collecting arcade machines, a buddy of mine says, you got to check this out, and brought it over. And then I was really hooked. I really wanted one. But it just seemed, whenever I'd see one come along, I just didn't want to spend the money, So
yeah, I mean, it's not cheap even by today's standards. For a good one, you're going to pay a couple $100, right?
Yeah. Well, and so I finally broke down and bought one, and I thought, man, this would be cool to hook up to a big monitor. And so I thought someone's already done this, So I looked it up. I Googled it. I says, I want to see how to do it. And then I find out nobody did it. No one actually hooked it up to a big giant monitor. And so, and it's funny because as I'm looking it up online, I have a monitor, like a 19D2000 monitor sitting on the carpet in my living room right in front of me. And I'm like, let me just try to hook this up. So the first time I did it, I ended up cutting a bunch of resistors and changing how the monitor handles the inputs. And so I can connect it directly up to the Vectrex. And then I found out the Z intensity was incorrect. So I ended up using a Walmart computer amplifier. You know what I mean? I chopped the amplifier board out of there, and I used it to amplify the Z signals. But later on, I found out there's ways you can do it without any additional. You can actually wire a Vectrex directly up to it. You know what I mean? So I had different hacks to do it, and so I made a video on the YouTube. By the way, my arcade channel, Arcade Jason, is the name of my YouTube channel.
Let's talk that up. You need to give us the URL and everything.
Well, the best way I could say is just go on YouTube and Google Arcade Jason. I don't know I can give you the URL.
Arcade Jason, Jason Kopp, YouTube, look Kopp. Look him up.
Yeah. But
sorry, I didn't mean to bust out your name. Everybody go on Facebook and friend him.
I'm on Facebook too, man. Check me out. I have a group on Facebook called Arcade Jason. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of my own group.
There's an arcade repair group, right?
Yeah, repair, help, and tech tips or something like that. Yeah, just look for it.
Yeah, Vector something, I think, is it?
Vector,
yeah.
crap. Yes. Like that.
I researched you earlier. It's okay.
Oh, did you? Cool.
Yeah. Well, I can't come in here completely dry, so I figure out who you are, and Facebook. Photoshop your face onto something one time, and then. Oh, cheers.
By the way, if anyone ever wants to do that themselves, contact me and I will help you out. I made a video on YouTube showing you how to do it, and there's way better ways to do it now, and it's only going to cost you like $2 in parts, and anyone can do it. You can contact me, KOPPJASON83@yahoo.com, and I'll tell you everything you need to know on how to make a large vector monitor work on a Vectrex.
Wow.
A new listener. I just want to say that I didn't notice this earlier, but I was complaining about having to take potty breaks, and one of our new listeners suggested Depends.
Man. No. You know what? I wouldn't feel bad if you peed in a cup or something, but
Excuse me.
Excuse me a second. Yourself.
Excuse me a second.
Oh no!
Hold on. So you hear water trickling.
Oh my God! I got some.
Or just smile like a weird.
This is brought to you by Stable.
Oh.
Put this in your engine. Oh my God. Anyway, that's awesome. So, how did you? I mean, clearly you have some engineering acumen for all this stuff. So this is fantastic. How can we promote you in a way that we can make money off of you? That's what I'm trying.
What?
How do I get commission off of what you do? Oh, seriously, you have 100.
I figure out is I'll gladly give you for free. I don't want to make money off it.
See, here's the problem with you. You need to want to make money. I think you have 120 games in your house. You have needs. You have needs. You need to make sure you're charging 150.
People have been like, I almost would say harassing in a nice way. I'm going to say this.
That's good.
And then nicely harassing me to start a Patreon for my YouTube channel, and I feel like I'm a bum, like asking, I can't.
You know what, dude? You just keep going on with your bad self. You give people advice. Eventually, you're gonna have enough subscribers; it'll start paying for itself. And then you got to hire a business manager, hire someone that's gonna help you out, because you're you are a talented dude. You need to make money off this stuff. So that's my own interjection. That's an aside, and you don't have to listen to what I'm saying. And but anyway, I think this is you've got potential. So
I hope you're getting paid for the 9 things you're winding tonight. The 9.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'd rather not do them, but I'd rather, vector monitors is a dying thing.
It is.
People that don't know any better are just throwing them in the trash, literally.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a NOS tube for a 6100 or G08, whatever you want to.
19 VLUP 22.
Yep, that's it. 19 VLU a little bit of 22. That's the one. So, and then I have a 6100 chassis, and I have a high voltage, and I have a neck for it and everything, but it's all, nothing's put together, and I'm totally afraid to try to put it together.
I've done it. Just do it
from scratch. It's
Yes,
a brand new NOS tube.
I had a Tempest, and all it was a tube with nothing else. Everything had been removed.
Yeah. I have the frame too. I have the frame. I have everything.
I just have the frame.
I'm totally scared to put it together.
It's fine. You'll be fine.
Well, then you should just put it together.
You know, it's funny.
Stand back when you
I've rebuilt 2 6100 monitors, so I'm not a noob. So I've done my Star Wars and my Tempest, and it's a little scary. Those, and I've actually blown out every transistor on the friggin' thing working on it, but I've gotten them to work,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's so what I'm saying is, Jason, I'd like to send all that to you and have you just build my monitor for me.
Oh, man, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Here, hold on. I'm gonna move. Thing. Look, I have 2 6100s.
Oh, there's a baby Pac-Man.
There it is.
Yeah. Some dude by the name of John Salter just dropped off some monitors, and I gotta fix those monitors. Actually, I gotta fix 3 6100 monitors for this one guy. I mean, I fixed hundreds of them, hundreds and hundreds of them.
He doesn't even know what this is. He's telling me not to drink it. That's freaking hilarious.
What is that?
Don't drink that.
Yeah, exactly. It's
is that the same cup you just peed in?
Yeah,
oh, no.
It is the same cup I just peed in. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, all right. So, what were we asking you anyway? Oh,
I don't remember.
All right. So, run down all of the. Okay, we talked earlier. You said you have a little bit of an Atari Vector collection. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I have every Atari Vector in a dedicated cabinet.
Run them down. Run them on down.
Well,
what do you got?
Oh, gee. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back.
Wait. Hold up. You have a dedicated Empire Strikes Back?
No, I don't think any of them were dedicated, but I at least got to have it.
Conversion kit, right? But the marquees were the marquees. Now those, I mean, they had to strip the old one, or did they put a new one on there?
They would strip it off and give it to the operator, I believe.
But it's a sticker. It's a sticker.
If anyone could leave a comment, was there ever an Empire Strikes Back that left the Atari factory doors? I'd love to know that. I don't think so.
Me too. But it's a handsome conversion if they did. And I have a kit that allows me to switch between the two. It was the Clay Cowgill kit before the Vectrex. Before the Vectrex. Or not Vectrex. Before what's his name? Vector. Who does the modern Empire to Star Wars conversion?
Vector Labs.
Vector Labs, right? So I have the Vector Labs kit,
and before that, Clay Cowgill does, and I think you can still get them from Clay Cowgill if you bug them enough.
Well, I have the Clay Cowgill one, and it has a switch inside the machine. I got to switch, but I like the Vector Labs one because you can press the 2 buttons. And you just switch.
I always forget what to hit and for how long, and
it's just the 2 triggers, right?
I think you have to hit one, hold it down, then hit the other one.
It's 2. You hold them down for 5 seconds, and it switches.
If that's how mine is, I'm going to have to disable that because that kind of stuff bothers me. I want dedicated machines sitting next to dedicated machines. Even if, for example, I got a Tempest.
Wow, purist.
And I know. I got a Tempest. All right, and I just picked up another Tempest, which I'm going to make only play Tempest tubes. Yeah,
Okay.
I know I can put a switch. I can make it play Tempest Tubes.
Yep.
But I'm kind of a completist like that.
All right.
You know.
All right.
But,
I have a Tempest Tubes,
yeah,
and I'm not afraid to use it.
But yeah, I also have a dedicated Major Havoc and dedicated cabinet and everything.
Where'd you get that from?
I got that from a warehouse. It was rotten, like leaning sideways. And when I first seen it, it had some shooting game in it. And I'm like, I'm freaking out like a little girl, And I ended up taking it to an Amish guy. I wanted this thing done right. I have built cabinets from scratch, but I've also seen my work when I'm done. So I took it to an Amish guy, and he actually made the whole bottom platform and redid it and like replaced half the wood. Like a foot up is all new wood on the bottom, and he was throwing all this wood away, and he replaced some pieces. Like for example, the one back piece that has a serial number. It was the middle of winter, and he's heating his garage with wood. Okay, well, he has in the pile my piece of wood with the serial number on it. And luckily I got there when I picked up the machine to grab that one piece of wood, the serial number. He didn't care. He was going to throw it in a wood burner. So I still have that piece of wood with the serial number on it.
So, I love Major Havoc. I don't know why people don't like that game. It's fantastic.
I love it. It's like Vector Mario Brothers with in space.
It awesome. Has so much more going on than any other Vector game, and a
lot of strategy.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. So, fantastic. So you have Red Baron. You have you have Star Wars. You have Empire Strikes Back. You have Major Havoc. You have
Gravatar, Black Widow.
Sure. Yeah, Black Widow.
Star Castle.
I'm also big on this.
Star Castle's not Atari, but yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have TechScan, Space Fury. I'm talking about Sega Vectors now. Star Trek.
So
also,
is your Star Trek working?
Yeah.
No problems.
Matter of fact, every Vector I own except for one right now does not work.
Are you using?
It does work. It does work the other way around.
Are you using original hardware on Star Wars? Star Trek. Star Trek
hardware.
Trek. Really?
Yep. Oh, by the way, there's something that I want to that might be interesting to some of you guys.
I kind of hate you right now.
I also have spare working boards, but I'm not gonna give them up.
I have 2 sets of boards. I will send you 2 for 1 working board.
That's actually kind of I might think about.
Let's talk.
But there's something that I'm gonna do here soon that I think would be important for the Vector community, and I want to make an adapter. I want to figure out a way to adapt a 6100 monitor to work in a Sega cabinet, because a lot of people have issues with the G08 monitors, literally catching fire. Or,
and you know what? It can be done. 6100 can work in a G08 situation.
Yes, it can. But there's issues. Now, the way Sega Vectors are made is it might have a point right here, and the next point is it will be over here. So in other words, between these 2 points, you have a line, right? Well, with Sega, it's instantaneous. Draw this line now. And with an Atari, it'll say draw the line. And because of that, vectors don't line up correctly, and there's issues because the 6100 monitor is a slower monitor than the G08 monitor. So you can connect it with like a simple op amp.
Which is, there's an irony here because they use the same exact fucking tube. I'm sorry, freaking tube.
Yeah, same tube. Matter of fact, the same or compatible yoke coil. But the difference is a Sega Vector monitor has 45045 volts coming in, and Atari has it runs off 25025. So it's like 1.5 times a faster monitor than the 6100. So the trick is to get a 6100 monitor to kick it in the ass to get it moving a little bit. And I've done it. Soon I'm going to figure out a simple way so you can do it and still get proper pictures on a Sega Vector. And I want to put that in the YouTube channel so people can,
I love it. I'm going to do it. If we got to figure this out. I think it's I would love to have a more stable G08 situation, So what do I need to do to get you to fix all my Star Trek stuff? So I have a cockpit. I have a cockpit sitting in storage that who knows if it's even going to function.
I had a cockpit and I got rid of it in favor of the upright.
I had an upright. I sold it to a guy in New York because I fixed that damn thing like 4, 6, 7, 12 times, and I was like, "Screw you! I'm done with you. You're going to New York." So, okay, Mark. Final question. What do we got going here?
Final question. Tell us about the toilet bowl cleaner.
Oh, toilet bowl. Okay, all right. I've gotten some shit on this.
What
some shit? You got some shit on the toilet bowl cleaner.
I've got some shit on the toilet. All right. Now, all right. The Works toilet bowl cleaner. The Works toilet bowl cleaner. The active ingredient is hydrochloric acid. Well, hydrochloric acid eats copper wonderfully. Okay.
Sure.
It dissolves copper. Now, if you have a circuit board that has acid damage, now technically it's not acid damage. Isn't really an acid. It's an alkaline. Okay. Sure. It's a strong base that leaks all over and corrodes your boards.
And it travels up the traces, right? So it makes
absolutely.
It's a big pain in the ass. So when a battery's alkaloids start to leak out, it actually travels the length of, for just depending on how long it's been leaking, it can travel pretty far through your board system. So it's not just going to wreck the 1 or 2 inches around it. It can actually go 6, 7 inches up the traces. So not fun.
And anyway, so and it works very well. The Works toilet bowl cleaner, the hydrochloric acid neutralizes that base. I've also used a PCB etchant. Now, when Radio Shack was still kicking, they sold a little bottle of PCB etchant as ferric chloride, I believe it is.
Sure.
And that is also a good way. But remember, you put an aggressive acid like that on any board and walk away and forget about it, you're gonna have a blank board by the time.
Right.
So there's a fine line. You can't go nuts.
So you can buy this stuff at Fry's now, right? Or at least a couple of different places.
What the hell's Fry's?
Fry's Electronics.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm thinking of like local stores.
Yeah, no, Fry's Electronics is probably the biggest online. Yeah, you can get on Amazon too, but still,
I've also used drain cleaner.
So tell us why you would use toilet bowl cleaner on a board. What are you trying to accomplish?
It's just cheaper and more available. And also, muriatic acid is the same thing as hydrochloric acid. That's
right, but it's a little bit stronger, right? Depending on this.
You got to be careful. I mean, the concentrations are different, but the active ingredient is the same.
Right.
So I'm just after the active ingredient.
And toilet bowl cleaner is pretty mild compared to muriatic acid. Buying it as a whole. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Don't pour that stuff all over your board and then expect your board to work.
This is important. This is important.
Yeah.
If you decide that you want to pollute the planet and do it over the sink, which I've done.
Yeah.
Make sure your water's running, because if you let that shit sit in your trap,
it'll wreck your trap.
You'll
have a
Don't blame Rcade Jason for ruining your pipes.
Right.
Seriously, okay, so check out his channel. Jason, you gotta give us your channel again,
Rcade Jason. Just Google it, or look it up on YouTube. Just type in search Rcade Jason. That's all you need.
Will do. That sounds good. And what are we looking for? Like, what else? Like, you also have a Facebook page, right? So you're not just helping us out with our, what's an alkaloid?
By the way. Actually, you can type in youtube.com/arcadejason, no space, works perfectly.
Awesome.
Okay, what he said.
Yeah. So go to that and subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to his channel, and if you haven't subscribed to ours, by now,
I'm gonna subscribe in a few seconds.
We're a hoot. We're a hoot.
What a
hoot.
Last episode though, we were boring as hell. So I don't know. No, I think.
Wait, that was just me and you talking.
I know.
We had no guest. You can't judge us. Jeez.
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
Sometimes we don't have a guest, and Dan doesn't show up, which is pretty much the
well,
rest
Dan
of the
hasn't
season,
showed up.
but
Who's Dan anyway? He's like this fictitious.
he's a pretty cool
character.
guy. But
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm watching the Vector Collection walkthrough video. Oh my
All right.
God, so nice.
Here's my promise.
That's actually an old video. I got more in there now.
Here's my promise to iTunes listeners who are probably just totally pissed at us by now, but I'm gonna put 4 new episodes up this weekend, guaranteed.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna make it to episode 6, and I'm gonna try to put up an episode every 2 days after that, so that we're caught up by the end of the week. You know. But in the meantime, you can listen into Rcade Radio every other Thursday. Usually, we're on a special night tonight, so thanks for joining us on short notice, Jason. It's been fantastic having you on the show.
Anytime, man.
And this has been the Double R's Rcade Radio. You can find us at youtube.com/Rcade Radio, or we're on the Facebooks. Yeah, facebook.com/Rcade Radio. And we do stuff like this every week, right, Mark?
Mostly.
And we dance.
No, this part of the song we dance.
Yeah, we're about to dance.
Put our shorts on.
Oh yeah, we're dancing right now. And I'm pretty sure Mark's pants are off.
No, they're on.
No.
Yep, his pants are off.
I have another pair of pants underneath the pants.
So anyway, call us. We got a phone number too, don't we? Nobody calls that number. What's the number?
Yeah, leave us a voicemail.
612. What is our phone number?
548.
Game. GAME. Right?
Game. 612-548.
Game.
Call.
Like gamer.
The more explicit the voicemail, the better.
Exactly. And we've played a couple on the show. All right, here we go. By the way, I have a copy.
Questions that Ben Heck won't answer because he's a dick.
Oh, here we go. This is the electric guitar part. Hey, you guys gonna go see Super Troopers this weekend?
We were gonna see it tonight, but then I had to do this.
I didn't know it's out yet.
Yeah, Super Troopers 2. I'm thinking about going to it, and like, there's a 10:10 showing, and there's a 10:40 showing. I'm gonna probably go to one of them.
Do it.
But I don't
at the movies. There's 2 shows that are due that I need to watch still.
Yeah.
And they're arcade related, so.
Well, Super Troopers isn't arcade related, but I want to go to it.
I know.
All right, guys, we're gonna cut the stream, but I would like to say a few words to you off air. So stick with us, and everybody, thanks for listening. This has been Rcade Radio, and we'll see you next week when we have Cosmotrons on.